Hi, we are here at InfoComm 2025 I'm very excited for this. My name is Marianella Shantz, and I'm here with Jason from Shure and Brian McDonald from Yamaha. Before we get started, because I'm really excited, Yamaha was like the first console I ever learned how to mix on, so I'm like, yes, let's do this. Sure, we're the first microphones I ever used, they're everywhere. I want you guys to introduce yourselves, tell us what you do. Share with us who you are, what you do.
Hi, well, I'm Brian McDonald with Yamaha Research and Development. I work on a global research and development team that is comprised of people in Japan, where our headquarters is, a couple of us here in the United States, and a bunch of people over in the EU as well. And we cover most of the Yamaha professional audio portfolio. That's consoles, that's speakers, that's DSP, everything that's in there. We work through the planning and production of our products. And then we are first breaker of all of the products as well. So that's kind of my role.
Can I just copy and paste that for what I do at Shure? Right? Jason Waffle, Global Market Development, Pro Audio focused at Shure. Very similar job titles, right? I give a lot of feedback to our product team on what we should make, what we shouldn't make. We try to break it as often as we can, and before our customers do. It sounds like we align on a lot on how we approach things, which is why this is such a great conversation.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
So I was doing a little bit of research, as you do, and we were actually talking about this earlier. I think we've both been in business for over 100 years. Well, we're celebrating 100 years of Shure. Yamaha has how many years, Brian?
So we were 1887.
Well,
so a little bit older, but we congratulate you on your 100 years.
Thank you.
Yeah, but we were 1887 was the official start of it.
Yes. And chances are, if you're in pro audio, you've used a Shure microphone, you've used a Yamaha product, you've probably used them together, and to no one's surprise, you've used them and they've worked seamlessly, and that's really by design. I want to talk a little bit more today about our partnership, how that all started, what it actually means to our users, because it does improve the workflow, and it enables features that you probably wouldn't get whether you're using a Shure product individually and a Yamaha product individually. So who wants to talk about how it all began?
Well, I think you've got more history on this, so I'm going to pass it over to you. Yeah.
Well, what I will say is that, in the early 2000s, when digital consoles were first starting to become, a thing in the professional audio world, new challenges were coming up, but then new opportunities were also coming up as well. And I think around that same time, Shure was developing some wireless products. And it was a logical decision in, I want to say 2006, for an official collaboration to happen. In fact, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that Shure was the first company that integrated with a Yamaha console on the level that we do right now. And a lot of that was born out of the desire to make the workflow easier for the engineer. You guys had a way to monitor your wireless microphones. We had consoles, and in that particular time period, you had one engineer who had to look at multiple things. And could you look at your monitoring software and your console at the same time? So it was a logical decision to integrate those two different devices that are used at the same time.
So you touched a little bit on that, Brian, but I'm going to throw this back to you, Jason.
Yep.
What are the benefits of having a wireless, microphone integrated into a console workspace?
Yeah, absolutely. It's evolved over time, and I love that, the approach here with Yamaha is, I think we both say we put the end user or the customer at the center of everything we do, right? And so this has been harmonious for almost 20 years now. You said 2006, so 1/5 of Shure's existence, we've been partnering with Yamaha in a way that makes sure our customers have access to the best tools available. So specifically, right now today, you talk about console integration. We're giving you metrics and information directly on a Yamaha console on the channel strip that mic is associated with. So instead of having to go to a separate pane of glass or a separate software or a separate screen, or take your eyes off of what you're most focused on in that moment as an engineer, which is the mix, right next to that meter is now your battery information, your RF telemetry, the RF quality meter in some cases, to give you some more confidence and more information in that single pane of glass or on that layer, which is, obviously in this case, the Yamaha console.
Yeah, and then beyond that, it's always great to see when your battery's about to go, right? So as a user, it really does help you to have all of this telemetry information. I mean, for me as a mixer, I find myself really relying on seeing all of this information as part of my mic check process. Because now, instead of just listening in a queue mode to make sure that I'm hearing it, I'm also able to visually see that everything's good. So that's part of my mic check process now, is I look at the data that we're getting. But not only that data comes through the line, we also have some control hooks in.
Yep.
So one of the things that used to happen is you'd have to radio back to somebody who was by your receiver rack and saying, hey, can you change the RF gain for me? We're a little hotter. I need it boosted a little bit. But we also have that kind of control integrated into the console now. So it's more than just seeing the data. It's also being able to control the product, which is incredibly helpful.
Yeah, and I think the way that we said that, we didn't plan that, but it just goes to show the evolution of the idea of what console integration can be, right? And you go back to where it started, and baby steps here and baby steps there, and the workflow, again, putting the customer or the end user or the engineer at the center of everything we do to make this a simpler workflow. For me, it's a confidence booster, right? It's so quick in my brain now. If I'm looking at my console, your eyes you just know what's supposed to be there and when it's supposed to be there in terms of the telemetry data you're getting. And so you don't have to think about it. It becomes second nature. It's smoother, it's easier, it's faster.
So what wireless lines are available on what Yamaha consoles? Do we know this? I do. But
It's a deep matrix. Isn't that why you're here?
Yeah.
So I can tell you the wireless lines. I don't know if I could tell you all the consoles.
Yeah.
It's a lot now, right? It's continued to grow. ULXD?
Yes.
Yeah.
Axion Digital?
Yes.
We're playing bingo here.
Yes.
Right? What else?
Well, SLX just got added.
SLXD,
So
that's
SLXD just got added.
Yes.
But it's not only the Dante-enabled receivers that we integrate. QLXD.
Yes.
QLX doesn't have a Dante output port, but we can take the same information off the LAN port and still mount that onto the desk. So even if you're running an analog system and you're running one of the consoles, you still have access to the data and the control.
Yeah. Which is shout out to the rest of SLXD, because SLXD has both Dante and non-Dante ports, and both can be seen on a Yamaha console.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So what Yamaha consoles are we integrated with?
Well,
past and present.
Past and present. Well, I believe it began with CL and QL series.
You are correct.
We have integration into our Ravage series consoles.
Yes.
As well as our DM7. DEM.
Yes. And then the question you probably get, will we be continuing to be integrated with Yamaha consoles?
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason to not do it. I mean, no, it's a really great relationship that we've got between our two companies. Like I mentioned before, you were the first company that we integrated with, and there was a reason for that. There was a really strong communication at that time between our companies, and I think that continues today.
Yes.
So we know each other, and we have a very compatible language, and we make sure that we innovate together, because we know that if we work together, we help our customer. And when I say our customer, I mean both Shure and Yamaha's customer. It's the same customer.
Yes.
So,
Absolutely.
Jason, do we have new wireless products that are going to be coming to a Yamaha console in the near future?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a handful of new wireless that we launched at this show, and we've been doing it for 20 years, so I expect us to continue to keep doing it.
Yes. So that is a teaser in case you didn't get it. We have new products launched at InfoComm that will be coming to a Yamaha desk in the near future. Some people ask, well, why isn't it available right away? And, there is a lot of thought behind how we do this integration.
absolutely.
Being able to integrate in your monitors has been a big request that we have heard and that we're working on, but being able to display it properly has been, something we're undertaking right now.
Well, and I also think as, console technology develops and wireless technology develops, we have more opportunities, which means that we've got more tools that we want to play with, and that's just, it's gonna take a little bit of time, but I think we have opportunities to grow our collaboration.
Correct.
And provide an even better workflow. So, we'll see where the future takes us there.
Yes.
I like to think that there's a lot of smart people at both companies, but when you're innovating at the speed at which we both are, sometimes, we've said it a million times on the show already, podcast, we want to listen to what our end users want, right? And there's so much new technology built into some of this stuff for the last couple of years. We have a really good idea, I think, of how we could do some innovative things with console integration with some of these new products. But, we also want to make sure we ask the right questions to our customers and make sure that we get it right.
Yeah,
Yes.
and you mentioned, in-ear monitors, and of course, when we look at wireless microphones, it's a very similar technology, but it's a different workflow.
Correct.
So we've got to make sure that we're capturing that workflow and really putting forth an integration that makes everybody's life easier.
Yes.
Yeah.
So at the heart of both Shure and Yamaha is our users, right? We are looking at their needs, at how to improve their workflows, how to make the job that they do easier and not harder. And I mean, we've been doing this for almost 20 years. I foresee us continuing to do this. And it's actually it's fun to see it all, how it all comes together, and then live and being used, on shows that we all love to see. It's actually pretty cool.
Absolutely. It's a great relationship, and we really appreciate it. Yeah.
So do we. Yeah. So we're here again, InfoComm 2025, and we're very excited to continue our partnership with Yamaha. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, hit us up on our feed here, and we'll get back to you. Or we'll do another one of these at another trade show and answer some more questions.
Absolutely.
Sounds great.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Completely. Absolutely.